Please stand by. At present, we're having blackness dumped on Thetan, and you have to bear with me. We're having a technical difficulty in the studio. Okay, I think we're ready. And okay, we have to. Okay, there we go. Brendana, okay, I think we should be ready to go. There we go. Hello, welcome. Sorry for the Brendana and I were having some technical difficulties here at We Fuck 'Em and How. Exactly. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see you again. E. Stuart Mills, head of We Fuck 'Em and How. We represent the Church of Spiritual Technology, Religious Technology Center, Church of Scientology International. Monique Yingling actually works for me. So does Wally Pope, Eric Lieberman, Kim Moxon, Gary Soder, and all the rest of them on the payroll. They all work for me. And who do I work for? Well, before we get that in, blackness, it should be, because in the OT levels you read that blackness is dumped on the Thetan. Chariot comes out, turns right, turns left, is how it begins. But that's in incident 1 of OT3. And so not everyone had an incident 1 of OT3. Now, I want to begin. Brendana is massively out of ethics, and there's nothing I can do about it. So before I begin, I wanted to show you what do I have in my case. What do I have in my handsome Italian leather super lawyer briefcase? Well, I'll tell you what I have. It's OT 9 and 10. It's OT 9 and 10. They exist. The CIA stole them from Scientology, just like it did the OT3 remote viewing levels. But OT 9 and 10, David Miscavige, you don't get these. Why? Because they're like the Glenn Ross leads. They're for closers. Your agreement with the CIA, David Miscavige, was to have 120 ideal orgs in place, which are, of course, CIA front operations. The ideal orgs are fronts for CIA operations. No snacks. No, these are OT 9 and 10. And I have them. We Fuck 'Em and How have them. They're actually in my safe with some other things. And David Miscavige does not get them because OT 9 and 10 are for closers. And David Miscavige has not kept up his part of the agreement. That's why Scientologists don't have OT 9 and 10. And David Miscavige up. And apparently he's not going to get the land in Clearwater to build the L. Ron Hubbard Hall. So I have to say, sorry, Mr. Miscavige, no OT 9 and 10 for you. You don't get them until we have 120 ideal orgs for the CIA. Now, everything I'm going to tell you will be erased from your memory after this podcast. So I'll deny everything. And Thetan chips. Oh, Brendana, I forgot to bring Thetan chips. Oh, would you be like a bunny and hop up and get me some? Just hop on your rabbit. No, go fuck. Oh, she told me that myself. No, I just have a red glass, which is Coca-Cola. Not really. It's got some additives, but OT 9 and 10 are here. I have them in my safe. So the whole idea we're going to talk about why Scientology faked the moon landing, how we did it. Oh, look at, we have a talented suppressive in the audience. Mark NPM, welcome. It's good to see you here. Sandwiches. Mark's photo shooting skills are astonishing. He's on Tony Ortega's blog. You should drop by and see Mark's photoshops, where he often parodies David Miscavige, the global ecclesiastical leader of the Scientology religion. So anyway, Mark, David doesn't get the OT 9 and 10 levels until we get 120 ideal orgs for the CIA, which I deny working for. But Mark, you know, I should show you part of OT 9 and 10 since you're a suppressive. But, oh wait, it would kill you. Premature exposure would kill you, Mark. So, yeah, it is very theta cola, especially with the additives I have in it. It's like rocket fuel. The L. Ron Hubbard Mausoleum. Hey, watch it there, Wayne's World. You watch yourself. You mind your P's and Q's. So today we're going to discuss how Scientology faked the moon landing and anything else. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about flying saucers. Careful, Xenu. Careful. Danger, Will Robinson. Xenu's approaching. You know, if Xenu actually ever went after the crew of Lost in Space, they'd be fucked. So, you know, same thing with Star Trek. They couldn't hold up against the real alien hardware. Let's go over the volcano and collect the souls that are coming out of it after Xenu nuked them. So we're going to talk about flying saucers, pyramids. Now, in case I'm challenged as an authority on this, I brought my Datachrome Texas Instruments solar-powered calculator. So in the event, yes, it's from 1978, but in the event I'm challenged to show you orbital mechanics using Laplace transforms, I can do that. That's something I can do. I can do Laplace transforms and other orbital mechanics, as well as feats of prestidigitation. So I have my calculator ready. I have my compass, my Helix professional drawing set ready in case I need my compass. You know, when you're old school, like many of us, you don't need computers. I can look, Jack Parsons was able to do back of the napkin calculations on rockets. Werner von Braun, back of the napkin on V2s. So now one thing I'm often called to review as lawyer for the Church of Scientology. It has a lot of nutty front groups, including Citizens Commission on Human Rights, the notoriously crazy anti-psychiatry group. Citizens Commission on Human Rights is the group that needs psychiatry and psych meds, if any group does, especially that horrible witch Janet from another planet, Wheeland Avosa. She's an awful woman, and I do have a mechanical pencil and a slide rule. I have a circular slide rule and other implements. And so I just got this to vet. They released it. So it says, what does 460 volts of electricity hitting your brain feel like? This is, what does 460 volts of electricity hitting your brain like? Therapy or torture? Well, technically, I pointed out to CCHR, but that the brain has no pain receptors. So your brain would not feel anything. Now, your scalp has pain receptors, but the brain, she has no pain receptors. And further, Dr. Hubbard said it was just a piece of meat. It served no function. So I don't know why CCHR Scientology is carping about when Hubbard said the brain was just a piece of meat, why they're carping about ECT. So not a hell of a lot of us left who've used the slide rule? Question. He's a question talker. There's not a lot of us left who use the slide rule. Yes, there's more than you think. This is more than a 4 function too. This is the real thing. In fact, in addition to being a scientific calculator of 1970 era, they could put men on the moon as well as women on the moon and chimpanzees. Okay, no, we have to get started here. So I'm fully anyway, the 460 volts hitting your brain would feel nothing because your brain has no pain receptors. The idiots in CCHR, I have to go over and tell them, look, you don't understand. You're going to have to understand a little of something we call biology. You think you're in a meat body. You think you're a thetan in a meat body, but it's more complex than that. I like that. Do you remember the old movies where they used to have the strings going across the really bad 50s sci-fi movies? And they'd always have the sounds like that with strobe lights and things. They were coming after Mark. They wanted him. They needed his Photoshop skills for their dying planet to raise money. Yeah, that's right, Mark. He's CIA as well. He's a CIA operative. So at the recent, it all starts. The decision was made. We just had the 75th anniversary of the release of Dianetics, which was released on May 9, 1950. It became an unexpected bestseller. And so what we've decided to do is at the recent OSA Conspiracy Congress, the ghost of L. Ron Hubbard was summoned, and David Miscavige decided to have me share how Scientology faked the moon landing. And there he is at the, there's actually in Geneva, Switzerland, a secret OSA convention hall, which is much more grander than the L. Ron Hubbard Hall. The L. Ron Hubbard Hall will just be kind of like a large empty space. Occasionally, some Scientologists will be put in there as well as rented actors. But the recent OSA Conspiracy Congress, because OSA does, it needs help. It needs help in the worst way, and Interpol can't help it. They need basically remedial reading courses, as does COB. But at the recent Congress, it was nevertheless decided to talk about how Scientology, to reveal publicly for the first time ever on this channel. Now, see, there's a picture of the stage set. And Stanley Kubrick was, of course, hired to do this. And his daughter's a Scientologist, Stanley Kubrick's daughter. She lives here locally in Los Feliz. I've seen her in Gelson's a few times. And be right back. I need coffee for this. Well, throw some LSD in it. I mean, So anyway, yes. And it's done through a web of conspiracy to fake the moon landing. But NASA, which is a CIA front group, also needed Scientology's help because only Scientology can help at the scene of a fake moon landing or at the flat Earth. So the conspirators we've identified. Okay, so you have L. Ron Hubbard beginning. Let's go counterclockwise, beginning with L. Ron Hubbard. Okay, so we have L. Ron Hubbard. Tom Cruise was involved, even though he was young. I just want to say this because it's a data point. David Miscavige and Tom Cruise were born as adults. They were never infants. They just one day they walked out from behind a wall, appeared fully formed. So their childhoods were manufactured, and they were trained by the CIA for the time when their time would come. So they just walked out from another planet. They walked out from behind a wall at a shopping mall where they would blend in. That's what happened. Um, yeah, well, excuse me, fucking excuse me, Mr. Madman. That's very complex. See, Mark is so hard to please because nobody tries to please him. That's a line, of course, I stole from Ambrose Bierce. This is pretty complex, but maybe you could do better, Mr. Smarty Pants. So this involves L. Ron Hubbard going counterclockwise because we're doing black magic operations here. Tom Cruise, Aleister Crowley, Jeffrey Epstein, Richard Helms, CIA director during the moon landing, and then David Miscavige. And so if you you have Scientology, you have governments, you have what the fuck? I'm sorry, WWF, the World Wrestling Federation, and you have Mr. Trump, and you have a whole bunch of other people. I'll put this up on OT. It is great, and you can see how vast the conspiracy was. The Black Summer was behind it. Now that we'll get to later. Do you know what the Black Summer is? It's hiding behind Scientology. It's nested. Black Summer. That'll come up later, perhaps, or it won't. And we had black helicopters, alphabet soup agencies, wildfire state governments. We had corporations, helicopter providers, Boeing, Disney, Beechcraft. We had Microsoft. We had Jeff Bezos. We had Bill Gates, and so many other people. We even had a koala bear. Apparently, Mark, help me out here with this. Yeah, close up. Why a koala was involved, I don't know. I'd have to look in the footnote. This is the maddening thing when I get this from the company, which is what we call the CIA. Why a koala bear was involved, I don't know. Is it a magical koala bear? Wayne, Denise, mischief managed. Why is a koala involved in a global conspiracy to control and enslave mankind? Oh, somebody was just fucking. Brendana, how is a koala bear and kangaroos throwing up what looks like Chinese figures? Oh, I get. Oh, it's Marcab code. Oh, that's Marcab code writing. Okay, send me the thing. Data agencies, satellite owners. So if you own a satellite, you know the largest private satellite network owner in the world next to Elon Musk is Walmart, which means that Walmart and Elon Musk must be working together. So you had Digital Earth Australia. So you Australians are guilty. You're criminals. We know it. Your whole continent began, or subcontinent, whatever else is Brenda. Brendana, is Australia a continent or is it an island? Mark, someone from the Commonwealth, what is it? Oh, it's the World Wildlife Fund, PANDA. Oh, thank you, Mark. I knew you would know. So World Wildlife's involved in this. The koala was the Cambridge fourth man. Well, he might have been someone else that I'll show you later. And so we have all kinds of some. Nobody on here is random. Look at Rupert Murdoch. Of course, he's involved up to his eyeballs. Rupert Murdoch is actually the man who chose David Miscavige to lead Scientology. That's something you didn't know till right now, because now everything Scientology as it begins to collapse and fall apart further. Um, Rupert Murdoch is pulling the strings behind David Miscavige. Shocking, but true revelations you learn only here. So there's satellites, conservative media, left-wing media, right-wing media, um, Alex Jones, of course. Tesla was involved at some point. So there's Epstein, who, of course, was associated with David Miscavige. So all these people were involved in the fake moon landing. And there you go. I want to show you something that should frighten all of you. Should frighten all of you. Uh, President Richard Nixon, Dick Nixon, to his friends. And that's Richard Helms in the middle. They look exactly alike because they're the same person. You can see the resemblance. So when CIA Director Richard Helms would put on a prosthetic nose, kind of bloat his face out with an injection of saline, he would be the president. He just had to change his voice. But look at the hairline, the eyebrows. They're the same person. They are the same person. So that was part of the plot. Is the real Richard Nixon was kidnapped and replaced by Richard Helms, who was a body double. And in the same way that L. Ron Hubbard was kidnapped by the CIA in 1972, the OT levels stolen for remote viewing so the CIA could own them. And, so this thing's happened. Now, the inner Earth tunnels, the secret tunnels, oh, they're vast. They go on and on and on. There's one under Mark's house, Mischief Managed, Mark Hardman. All of you have the secret tunnels. You're all in on it. No, what I'm telling you is incredulous, but true. Every word of it's true. No, it's nothing to do with acid. Golda Meir and Lyndon Johnson were one and the same person. True. No, I don't. You're true. I don't use the acid. That's for hippies and druggies, as they used to call them, druggies. No, don't need it. This is just so shocking. It's hard for people. The marks are going hard tonight. So it's hard for people to believe what's so incredible that they reject it, and they call me a lunatic when I've been behind it at the highest levels for decades. I'm actually over 500 years old, and I just change appearance. Inner Earth tunnels. Follow, share, like. Now you see the Scientology symbol at top? Yeah, you can go look on Scientology and see symbols like that. So these are the tunnels that go under the earth and they connect everything, including the Trementina base in New Mexico and Scientology's. There's lava tubes. So these have been mapped out. It's a vast network of underground tunnels. It's a vast labyrinth of bases under the U.S. Hold on. Where did that slide go? Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to read the text because it's so... Okay. This map... Darn it, I can't scroll. Brendana, what? Oh, you know what happened? Okay, sorry. I just don't know. Okay, this map... okay, one more time. Take 5. Now, let me see. Why am I... Oh, I see. Okay. This map created in... Let me see if I can get... Oh, this map created in 1978 shows a network of underground tunnels. Yes, it does. It is a vast labyrinth of bases under the U.S., with most of the entrances located in national forests. That's because national forests all have bathrooms in them. They're not clean. They're very good. But I got to tell you, when you've been in underground tunnels for a long time, they don't have bathrooms. You got to take a piss when you get out. So that's why the plus national forests have RVs. So you could, if I had to go in an underground tunnel, I could have Brendana park my RV, and then I would take the shuttles, the high-speed trains in the secret tunnels, and I could come out and use the bathroom in the national park and then stay in my RV or I could tent camp, which I don't do. So no, they don't want you to read that text. No, this is the secret. They never want you to read anything. Meaning we don't want you to read anything. The less you know, um, um, violent play sessions. Well, obviously he's not a real dog, Wayne. My dog, Wayne's claims, likes violent play sessions whenever Dr. Mills is live. He's tiring me out. First, I'm not a doctor, I'm an attorney, but thank you. I have an honorary doctorate in love, but that's a different thing. Or was it a diagnosis? No, I actually had a diagnosis as a result of love that was not good. But a dose of the clap back then, everyone, you didn't nowadays. You can get it treated. Oh, come on! Like you've never had a dose of the clap. Gosh, that's like just 101. And back then we didn't get tested because it just anyway. I think your violent play sessions of the dog, Wayne, are probably because it was fed LSD by the psychs. Because my dogs are not having violent play sessions. Alternately, your dog could be having a seizure that you think is a violent play session, but I'm not a veterinarian. Okay, I do have a doctorate in Scientology. Thank you for reminding me. It's very valuable. They awarded me a doctorate in Scientology from Sequoia University. And yes, I am tuned to the universal harmonic. Breathe in, feel relaxed. You're totally distressed, despite the vast plot against you. You're totally relaxed in this moment. You don't care that agents are outside. They're going to take you to a special place and reprogram you using Black Scientology. You don't care because you're our slave. Okay, so just had to use a little bit of that to key you out. Okay, so yes, LRH had actually, yeah, he got a dose of the clap in the Navy when he was philandering and fooling around with a woman who pretended to like him. Oren Hubbard said he was taking Sebestrol for his venereal infection, but it made his feet cold. It made his feet cold. And so he was self-treating, and he did, because LRH was in the military, he went to a private doctor because he didn't want the Navy doctor to know that he had a venereal disease. So he paid to go to a private doctor. The agents are for outside, but they were totally surprised by my carefully landscaped tiger pit with poison tip. Very smart to have. It's not that you're paranoid, it's that you're prepared. You're prepared. Outstanding. You should have tiger pits around your property. And yeah, that's how you'll get the agents. So, feed them to the hogs. Hogs are tremendously efficient at dismantling bodies. And if there's no bodies, there's no evidence and there's no case. So yes, that's why after the people falling in tiger pits, just remove the spikes using the auto spike removal features, and then throw the hogs in there with the bodies. And in about an hour, a couple big hogs you haven't fed for 2-3 days, it'll all be taken care of. I'm assured, not that I know this from experience, but I'm assured by reliable sources in the Appalachians. Oh, hi, Sarasota Jerry. Good to see you. Good to see you. We were just talking about you being a CIA employee. Everyone knows that, though, and you're not to be trusted. Well, actually, you can be because, but not with state secrets. Okay, so there are secret tunnels. There are secret tunnels under Pac Base and all other Scientology facilities. These are photographs that we've taken of the secret tunnels under L. Ron Hubbard Way that are used for extraterrestrials, OTs who go type 3 during sessions, or OT7s at AOLA, Advanced Organization, Los Angeles, where they do the OT levels. The last time I saw Kirstie Alley was in the Knots Lounge at AO. And then she dropped her body with Ron. Go ahead, talk about someone who faded. Like Kirstie Alley, she died, and then a while back, and then like, what did she ultimately contribute? She was in a sitcom, but nobody remembers her. Um, I am not CIA. That wretched tone. Yeah, email as part of OSA. Oh, often uh, you get accused of being OSA, and you're nobody till you get accused of OSA. So, but I think you should just say, no, I'm not OSA, I'm CIA. Just lean into it and say, bitch, you got it wrong. I'm not OSA, I'm CIA. Get your fucking agency straight. Running through the tunnels will turn you into a Pac-Man. Yes, it will. Yeah, no kidding. In the fantastic Four map of New York, I saw that. So secret tunnels. Now, which brings us to, in 1960, President Kennedy said we needed to land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth. But they couldn't do that because, for a couple reasons. One, everyone knows that the moon's only 500 miles away. You can actually fly there in an airplane. But all this WOG science tells you this stupidity that there's this dangerous Van Allen radiation belt that will kill you. It's not there. And the moon's they say it's 250,000 miles away, but it's actually only 500 miles away. You can fly there in a Cessna if you take out the back seats and put in extra gas tanks. I've done it in my Cessna. And I also have a TBM, the Big Mooney. I have one of those, and then my Learjet, and then the company plane, an old Learjet. That's just a sport plane I have. And then the big Gulfstream. It's better than Grant Cardone's. So, you can fly to the moon. There's oxygen on it. You can walk around. But now they teach the CIA has told the public that it's dangerous, but it's only 500 miles away. But you have to know how to get there. So you have to know how to fly there, but it's not that hard to do. So Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard being a highly advanced filmmaker, set up a studio. Now, this was done in 1967, so the whole moon landing was pre-recorded because they had to do a lot of editing and outtakes. And that's a scene, that L. Ron Hubbard was directing. And then they did it in black and white. So it was shot in color, reduced to black and white, grainy images. So a lot of editing. The Van Allen bell makes people jump. I saw what you did there. That's funny. So they filmed it, then they made it black and white. Now, during the time this was going on, the filming, L. Ron Hubbard was flying over this. L. Ron Hubbard was actually on the moon. This is a picture of L. Ron Hubbard in his Wright Flyer. He flew to the moon a long time ago. And in 1967, he flew some test astronauts there to just do the test filming. And because NASA couldn't land on the moon, but L. Ron Hubbard had advanced technology where he could fly his Wright Flyer there. And this is a picture of Dr. Hubbard surveilling the scene, space scientist, nuclear physicist surveilling the scene. This photo's never been seen before. And then later on, when NASA decided need to fake the moon landing, it couldn't get to the moon, and L. Ron Hubbard wouldn't give him the secrets of how to fly there. I won't either. Southwest Special 49 Cleveland to the moon. Someday that will happen. Do they charge for extra legroom on the moon flight? No, Jerry, because it's only 500 miles away. So it's just really a short hop. It'd be like me flying up to from LA to Portland, Oregon, or San Francisco, whatever. San Jose is Anyway, no, that you don't. They don't. You don't. It doesn't take that long, because it's 500 miles away. So L. Ron Hubbard agreed with the CIA. Turned to him for help because he had been to the moon here as early as 1932 in his Wright Flyer, and he often went there. That's how I knew about the there are bases on the moon. Hubbard also flew to Mars, which is only like 700 miles away, and that's how I knew about the implanting stations. Hubbard said, I flew to the moon and I saw Mark MPM there. He's obviously a Marcab. He was sent in. And so L. Ron Hubbard just knew all about space and the local galactic situation. Now, there's been talk about the sports model that Bob Lazar popularized and said he saw when he worked for the government. There is a sports model. I actually have one. I traded it. I gave a copy of the OT 9 and 10 levels to a foreign government in exchange for a captured sports model they have. They're actually pretty good. I like mine. I keep it in a secret hangar at Mojave Airport. Take it out at night. So that was part of the deal. So that's my classic sports model. I had it finished in chrome. I think it looks pretty sharp. No, Brendana, David Miscavige wanted my sports model. He doesn't get it. No, I would put it. No, if he ever, one time he snuck on board as a stowaway and I shoved him in a storage locker. Yeah, one time Miscavige was out with Tom Cruise at Mojave Airport. They'd flown in on one of Tom's planes, and they wanted a ride and they snuck on board. So I crammed them. They're both tiny. They're only like that big. So I crammed them in storage lockers to shut them up, and I muffled it and I turned down the oxygen low. Tom did that to someone. They were flying, and he bragged on David Letterman. You can see it that someone was in the back seat and they cut their oxygen off, and the guy kind of passed out when they were at altitude. Okay, so the Tremontina-based Scientology has, yes, it's a fact. It's a landing base for extraterrestrials. No, I haven't been buzzing your house at night. I think it's Church of Scientology has been buzzing your house at night because they think you have the OT 9 and 10 levels. I told them that. Yeah, so of course the fake moon landing is true. Of course it is. That's self-evident. Just like this whole idea of the round earth is so absurd. So yes, Tremontina, Scientology doesn't like to discuss it, but these are symbols because spaceships coming in from other dimensions and galaxies need visual landing aids. Okay, here's the thing. Even though advanced civilizations that can go through wormholes and go faster than light, and they can go use, transdimensional portals and stuff, when they get to Earth, they still need visual landing aids because they don't have GPS. They can't get XYZ Cartesian coordinates. It's just a paradox. That's why these advanced civilizations, as advanced as they are, they need visual landing aids because they don't have GPS like we do. And this is why the Texas Instruments Datacron is so valuable even to extraterrestrial civilizations. This is the universal calculator. It's better than the Turing machine, the universal Turing machine, because it can literally run forever and solve anything. And it does not get stuck in recursive loops by simply engaging the turn off recursive loops feature. There you go. That's the explanation. Some things that advanced civilizations are at, like they don't know how to make Kleenex. I was talking to representatives of advanced civilization who wanted OT 9 and 10, and I said, no. What will you give me for them? And I found out they couldn't make Kleenex. They do not understand plastic as we know it. So, and they're completely baffled by LA freeways. So, advanced civilizations are advanced in some areas, not advanced in others. That's why they need visual landing aids. And they also need a step ladder for their ships. They'll use crude Home Depot type step ladders. The darndest thing, you can be so advanced in some areas, but not others. Now, this is, of course, the most important diagram ever. And this was what Scientology scientists and nuclear physicist L. Ron Hubbard designed. Well, mostly Dr. L. Ron Hubbard designed. This was the whole key to faking the moon landing. It was a synthetic reality generator. And he had gotten it from the provenance of this device is murky, but this is how they did it. This complex diagram generated a fake reality. And what I mean by that, it was generated a hypnotic reality globally so that people believed the moon landing was real. But it's a secret device. And of course, we in the CIA stole it from Dr. Hubbard. And that's why Scientology doesn't work after the CIA stole all of its secrets. So that's it. And I'm not going to enlarge it because Mark will steal the diagrams. Stal 1A will steal the diagrams, so we'll add them. And then Jerry, Xenu forbid, he gets his hands on this. He could, yeah, if Jerry got his hands on this device. So that's the whole thing. It was a secret device. And I have it hidden on my sports model UFO. There. So looks like a diagram of Howell's moving castle. I don't even know what that is. You'll have to excuse me, but it's not. It's the secret. Now, who was actually flying the rocket? Because what happened is the launch of the Apollo 11 was real. Those are just big V2 rockets they scaled up, and they gave it a different design, exterior design. So a rocket's like a diesel engine. You can scale it up or down. So Apollo 11, they just flew and they took off. And rockets don't go straight up; they turn. They turn, and then they just fly out to a vanishing point, and then they drop into the ocean. And so, who was flying Apollo 11? Well, who do you think was flying it? One guess. Tom Cruise was flying it. And his mission, which was not impossible, was just to launch, because the astronauts got into it. And then during the so-called time they were strapping into their seats and getting ready for launch, they went down a secret elevator from inside the command module and the inside of the rocket and left. And Tom Cruise went back up. And he was the only man equipped enough to fly the Apollo 11. And then he flew it out over the ocean after it got out of camera range. And then he just parachuted out of it, and the rocket dropped into the ocean, never to be seen again. See, it all adds up. When it's explained to you logically, as I'm doing, it all adds up how they pulled off the fake moon landing. Later, of course, Tom Cruise, we have him routinely, let me get this picture up. We have him routinely delivering the Hollow Earth Convention on the free winds. So that's something, unless you're OT 7 or above, you don't get to go to. The Hollow Earth Convention, and then Tom will talk about the fake moon landing. Rocket Tech was scrolled by Werner von Erhard. I think you mean Werner von Braun. The founder of EST was Werner Erhard, and then Werner von Braun. You may be confused, Adam, or if you're compounding names, but in any case, Werner von Braun the German rocket scientist, actually stole everything from Hubbard, who had invented the diagrams in 1928 I'm sorry, 1931, when he's at George Washington University. So German agents came over and stole the rocket secrets from L. Ron Hubbard. They were part of his thesis in nuclear physics, and they brought them into Nazi Germany. Not to be dissuaded, L. Ron Hubbard went into Germany through the underground tunnels, of course, and stole them back and gave them to the OSS, the precursor of the CIA. It's all there. All the dots can absolutely connect. Werner Erhard founded EST, which was an offshoot, but not, it wasn't an offshoot of Scientology. But it does get, it's easy for me to get, but the lay person like Adam, who doesn't understand the mysteries, can get confused, and he can be forgiven for his confusion. He just needs to take a word clearing course. So basically, that's it. But there's more. So that the moon landing, L. Ron Hubbard was flying above. L. Ron Hubbard. Let's go back to the site. L. Ron Hubbard was flying above the set. Now here's L. Ron Hubbard actually on the moon in 1932 in his Wright Flyer. All you have to do to go to the moon, because gravity is not real. The idea that what does gravity operate at? 14.3 pounds per square inch on your body. That's not true, because if gravity exerted that much force and your body's 1,000 square inches, unless you're Mark, which it's substantially more square inches, you would have like 14 million pounds of pressure exerted on you. The maths don't add up. Now, on a solar powered calculator, they don't work at night. That's why you need to bring a flashlight, because it's photons into electrons. But I digress. So gravity doesn't really exist. So like when you fly your Cessna to the moon, you just have to have extra gas, and then you land on the moon. And there's avgas facilities there, and you just refuel, have lunch, and fly back. It's just, no big deal. But L. Ron Hubbard was the pioneer rocket scientist, and that's why they turned to him for help, because they knew that the Germans had stole his Apollo designs in 1932. And L. Ron Hubbard helped win World War II, of course, as well. He had like 5 medals of honor, and he was the guy who actually piloted the Enola Gay. L. Ron Hubbard piloted the Enola Gay, and he did many other things about which people don't know. But they kept it all secret and sheep dipped his records. They sheep dipped them, which, if you think about it, so astronaut Tom Cruise, OT, was the only one who could do the job. So he did the job. Nowadays, moving forward, this allowed Scientology to become the biggest religion on earth. Scientology has 552 million members scattered across the 15 continents of Earth and the 11,786 countries. Here we see Miscavige speaking at a recent Scientology event, Chairman Miscavige, and he's backed, of course, by Tom Cruise, and there's Massimo Intraviglia, cult apologist, and back. But this is how Scientology became the world's fastest growing religion, with 552 million members. A long time ago, they had only 12 million members, but it's grown since, because the demand for it is so big. It's so big now that the secrets are getting out about the real powers. But again, and it's going to be bigger when they release OT 9 and 10. But again, because we fuck them in how when we're up front group for the CIA, Miscavige does not get OT 9 and 10 until we have 120 ideal orgs. So Scientologists are just going to have to scrape together more money if they want OT 9 and 10, which will change the planet. It'll remove all negative conditions. And that's it. Now, Miscavige is still worried about legal problems, of course, and well, he should be. Years ago, he was in court, and I was there. And when he gets nervous, he sniffs his fingers. He likes to smell his fingers, which is don't ask me what but he smells his fingers. There's his mistress Lou next to him, and they're in court. This was many years ago. We had some hearing, and I forget what it was about because everyone wants to sue him. But you can see how he's changed from that to becoming the world's biggest cult leader. The world's biggest cult leader. Look at that. And now look at him. The new and improved. There we go. I have to get the ideal org picture. So, well, you know what? I bet they smell like earwax. Maybe he's scratching his behind. Maybe he's one of those guys who likes to enjoy the smell of his own gaseous emissions, the papal flatulence, so to speak. So it was all done. It will be fully, and all this is fully explained on OT 9 and 10, which none of you suppressors will ever get to see. Now, the flat Earth we're going to cover in another broadcast. But here's some tunnel systems on the flat Earth. This is where Scientologists actually live in Clearwater. This is why you don't see all 552 million Scientologists all at once. They live in the various cities and continents of the world, the coastal plains, the alluvial washes, under the oceans, in the Antarctic bases in Germany that the Nazis still run. They live subterranean. So that's, you ask, why are the orgs so empty? It's because the real orgs are underground. So Scientologists, for the most part, are a subterranean people. And they smell their fingers when they're nervous. That's a characteristic. And it tells you what? It tells you smelling your fingers is the characteristic of a Marcab. And so David Miscavige is giving himself away when he's nervous by smelling his fingers. You'll always see Scientologists underground, especially when you're there. And I hate to go into their underground. It's hideous. They don't have toilet paper. And they use other things. It's not the most hygienic places. They believe the money's better spent on other things. So they improvise. Where does this lead us to, you ask? It leads us to MK Ultra. MK Ultra. Your brain on 460 volts? No, it's far worse than that. It's chemtrails. It's hypersonics. It's HARP. It's everything else that's dangerous. And Scientology is fighting against these sinister forces who want to inject you with mind control drugs. And the only antidote is Scientology, OT 9 and 10, which we in the CIA are not releasing. However, we will be glad to give you chemtrails and injections. If the CIA thinks I have OT 9 and 10, shouldn't I have some fake documents in a briefcase here? Well, now let's look at this sentence, the logic. If you had OT 9 and 10, they wouldn't be fake documents in a briefcase, unless, of course, you're talking about a ruse to deceive people who might break in to get the documents. In which case, yes, you should have some fake documents in a briefcase here, wherever here is, because here is not where I'm at. Here's wherever you're at. His fingers smell like copper decharging wires. That's true. For those who don't know, when David Miscavige had the RTC building built at Int Base in San Jacinto, California, Tom DeVox shares with us, and Tom DeVox's latest work's pretty phenomenal. You should look him up. I like what he's writing. David Miscavige had these copper rods built in his office on the second floor, and they go down into the ground. And David Miscavige has so much energy. He's such an immortal spiritual being that he has to hold these copper rods to discharge all this anger and rage of the fuck ups that serve him. You know, um, they cause all kinds of problems he has to handle. So he has these rods to discharge his energy into the earth, which can barely contain it because it's so great. And then that energy radiates out into space. And so, yeah, maybe he's smelling the copper wires. It's like that character on SNL who smells her fingers, the Catholic girl. Miscavige does that. My brother got the James Bond 007 briefcase with a little rubber knife that popped out when you pushed the button. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that from the old days. So the psychs want to inject you. And now, another question we're often asked, was L. Ron Hubbard a double agent during World War II? Yes, he was a German field marshal. He was a Herr Feldmarschall Hubbard, and he was also a U.S. naval officer. So yes, he was a double agent for the Nazis, and he was Gestapo, a friend of Heinrich Himmler. That's where he learned so many of the things that he would later use on sec checks. So yes, L. Ron Hubbard. This is a rare photo of him in his German field marshal uniform. And yeah, he was a double agent for sure. The intrigue went deep. But L. Ron Hubbard claimed that he had to become a field marshal to steal back his OT 9 and 10 materials as well as his rocket plans. I'm hoping this is all making sense. And but yeah, that's a photo you'll see nowhere else but here exclusively. Yeah, you can see he was a double agent, a man of intrigue, a trained intelligence agent. David Miscavige, on the other hand, this is the SP patrol vessel Miscavige. Miscavige, on the other hand, did not have Ron's nautical skills. Miscavige could not captain the Free Winds, even though it's a rust bucket. That's why he hired Captain Mike Napier. But this was a picture of David when he was early in the Sea Org trying to learn he was on this original Sea Org seamanship skills where they went out on boats. They even went on San Pedro. A funny story. Early in the Sea Org, they had a couple of small boats here in LA. One was in San Pedro, and a Sea Org member stole it and used it for drug smuggling. And or the boat was seized in a drug smuggling operation tied to a Scientologist who I think knew Manson, which gets us into a whole other thing. So Captain Miscavige didn't do well. He got nervous, and so he would take to sea with his McAllen with them. And how did that go for him? I don't know, but that's it. And that's it in a summary. And just that's it in a summary. So yes, Ron was a double agent, but so was David Miscavige. Here we see him when he was working for as a Nazi general at the map table in the bunker, and he was laying out the things for MK Ultra, which would become Scientology. So this is all perfectly logical, but this is a secret photograph that you're seeing here for the first time as well. Herr General Miscavige working in the Fuhrer bunker. Boy, isn't that sensational. On what would ultimately become MK Ultra. It's all, and then you can see Tom Cruise to his left. So Tom Cruise's whole movie about being Count von Staffelwitz was fake. Cruise was involved in the Nazi. It was a Nazi as well, a committed Nazi as well. And this picture proves it. That's the kind of evidence we use in Scientology to prove things. So that should make sense. Um, that should make perfect sense to you. Does all cos fingers smell like niacin? Well, not if they've been in an orifice, their prison pocket. Some OTs who don't have their briefcase, here's the problem. When you're an OT, you have to hide your OT materials in a briefcase. They have to be in a locked briefcase. And let's say you're at Flag and your locked briefcase is damaged or lost or stolen, because it could get stolen by anybody. And you have OT materials, and if you go out security, so what you do is you roll them up and put them in your prison pocket. You're going to have to hoop your OT materials from AO back to your hotel room. Or if you're here in LA, you're going to have to hoop the OT materials from AO across the street, depending where you're staying here in LA. So yeah, there's a lot of hooping of materials that goes on in the Sea Org. So if it's been in your prison pocket, if you've been hooping things, your fingers are going to smell like the gritty resources of the human body. The gritty resources of the human. The gritty recesses of the human body. So sometimes their fingers smell like the gritty recesses of the human body. I think that's what Miscavige was smelling. Miscavige is Field Marshal McLuhan. He's so witty. He's not even up to McLuhan's, not anywhere close, but I get the joke. It's a good joke. So there's, then this is how it really started. When Hubbard was a German field marshal, he met Miscavige, who was quite ruthless, and recruited him to work with Admiral Canaris. And of course, when Admiral Canaris was taken out in the assassination plot of Hitler, Hubbard was cleared of it, but he did recruit his underling, David Miscavige, who remains his underling to this day. And one of the other secrets they don't know that Scientology wants to replace the meter ultimately, because it needs to be replaced. This is how it'll be replaced. The meter will be replaced with this device. And I have it. I have the device that will replace the e-meter. Look at the device. Tell me your crimes. You'll feel so much better if you'll tell me your crimes. You'll feel so much better. You'll feel so much better. You can see the perfect 8 coming into view. Infinity itself. If you give me your money, donate it all. You'll feel so much better. Oh yes, my little mischief vanished. It's so shiny. You'll feel so much relieved. If you join Scientology, you'll prove that you're your own friend. If you join Scientology, you'll prove that you're your own best friend. If you don't join it, you can blow your brains out or jump off a bridge. But if you join, you will be very happy with you, and we will be very happy with you. Look at that. It's very mesmerizing. Oh, yes. So, there you go. The device that will replace the meter as we know it. And David Miscavige can't have it, or the OT9 and 10 materials, because this is for closers. We need 120 ideal orgs. And this is your gateway into infinity. It begins at the front porch of infinity, and then into the main house, and so on and so forth, into the inner sanctum. Okay, so that's it. And just as a final reminder to my listeners, thank you for watching. But a couple of things I have to remind you of. Always wear rich masculine corduroy. I've noticed your commitment to wearing rich masculine corduroy has slipped. I don't like it. You should wear rich masculine corduroy, especially when you attend IES events. Soon, ecclesiastical global leader of the Scientology religion will put out a directive instructing all Scientologists to wear rich masculine corduroy, because after all, this is a corduroy planet. So, questions? If you have any questions, please put them in before we go. But have I taken you on an adventure of time and space, of mind? What a mind expanding voyage this has been to finally learn what happens above the highest levels of the OSA Conspiracy Congress. I don't care if it's summer, you're going to wear corduroy. Your comfort is not our concern in Scientology, or the levels above. You need to wear corduroy, okay? Just wear lightweight corduroy. But see, look at the complaints. Look at, okay, so if you want to be in the OSA Conspiracy Congress and rub elbows with Tom Cruise, you're going to have to just man up or woman up and wear conspiracy. And then you'll get in on the inner secrets. We might even select you for the next fake moon landing, which is budgeted. So we're recruiting astronauts for the next fake moon landing that Scientology's staging. And it's going to be shot by Scientology Media Productions here in Hollywood. I have a part. I get to play a commander. So I get a spacesuit in the whole thing. And it's just something. Oh, Patrick, thank you. Show your appreciation for this ultra secret briefing by hitting the like button. Oh, see, your subscription has expired. Why, thank you, Patrick. Yes, please like and subscribe if you want more of these ultra secret briefings in which you get to see things and photos no one else in the world. They've never been seen in the entire history of the world, let alone this universe. They've never been seen. You'll only get them here from E. Stuart Mills, faux Scientology lawyer, but actually CIA operative and head of operations for, I took over for Admiral Canaris, but then I later resigned that post when I learned it didn't pay enough. Like button deployed. Affirmative on that, Ms. Judge. So yeah, you can see why it makes sense. And this diagram got so messed up. This is what happens when you enlarge things. This diagram got so messed up. Let's put it back in order. See, you can just magically do that with PowerPoint. So now you know the conspirators, the names, how Epstein was involved and connected to David Miscavige, Tom Cruise, Al Crowley, Richard Helms, Richard Nixon, a bunch of other people named Richard or Dick, a lot of other Dicks. And you can see how the CIA director and the president were the same person, the tunnels. It all makes so much sense. It just needs to be explained. So for Canaris is on target 2 and is now a Commodore. True. And I think he hangs around with Aleister Crowley. So for We Fuck 'Em in Hell, a front group, and it's again after this broadcast is over, all your memory of it will be erased. You won't remember what you've seen or heard, but you'll have an irresistible desire to get onto OT 9 and 10. But David Miscavige can't have these because Miscavige, put down that coffee. Coffee's for closers. With Miscavige, I should say, David Miscavige, put down that scotch. Scotch is for closers. So after the broadcast is over, you won't remember anything. You won't remember anything about this. You won't remember where you've been and what you've done. It'll be missing time. And you'll tell your spouse, your 2D, your significant other that you don't remember. You'll tell them that you were kidnapped and abducted by aliens. Nobody will believe you, but you will tell them you were abducted by aliens. And then you can go create a YouTube channel and tell people about it. So you won't remember anything. Thank you for tuning in. Remember remember to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Yes, you will do it, Eric. Yes, you will like and subscribe. Yes. Here with law firm. We fuck them in house.